fear. When a woman keeps quiet, because naturally women nag, naturally women express themselves. By the time nakwambia, I don't like this, where are you? I'm all concerned, I'm all over you. At least be happy that the love is still there. The day a woman keeps quiet is the day you get worried. And worst of all is when she's quiet and then she becomes pregnant. You know where that is going.
Allah. And you can't bring up the question.
Na wewe anza ku bring up the utaletaje? Utaanzaje hiyo conversation?
Then
na wewe pia uko na wako huko nje. Utaanzaje? Because let us be fair here. Then, if you have paved the way, if you have modeled for me as my leader, if this marriage is like an organization, wewe ndio CEO. Sawa? Umeenda umeekana huko mimba nje. Ni nini unakuja kuniuliza? Juu nimezalia mtu mwingine. Hiyo kitu wacha tu equalize. Black, yani tunasemanga light and darkness.
Si equalize.
No, tukutanie. Unajua hata sisi ndio balance. Lazima uweke 5 kilos hapa 5 kilos. So wewe umeenda umeka 5 kilos. Unataka nitembee na 1 kilo. Hapana, let me serve you.
Me I subscribe to. Let's equalize.
You have taught me.
No, let's equalize on the table. Don't go sneaking around. Let's equalize on the table. Kuja kama wewe ukweli unajitambua. Let's equalize on the table.
Mimi sielewi hii concept ya unaona tu it is rightful ati ulienda nje ukateleza. Mimi siwezi teleza. To be honest, I'm not human. I am not made of wood. The same way uliteleza, pia mimi nitateleza tu kwa hiyo flow.
Okay. Yeah. Silas said something that monogamy is the problem. He said monogamy was a construct of the church so that weak people can also taste something. Sijui kama umesikia hiyo. He says this is where the problem comes in because ideally in a polygamous setting, everybody, because apparently some people argue that you guys are more than us, okay? So hata hii story ya cheating, it is the society pressuring men to conform to what they are not. Ideally in the traditional African setting, polygamy had been accepted, okay? And people lived peacefully, okay? And yes, actually people lived peacefully, kabisa. So hii ingine yenye iko hapa ni selfishness that went overboard, don't you think?
Let me say this because I want to be sensitive to cultures that have actually allowed the polygamy. And I know there's a time sijui kulikuwa kukue na conference sijui ya men who are thinking of becoming polygamous. There were even posters. What I want to say, let me just explain the concept behind it. Anytime there's variety, it brings in competition. So you must sell yourself so that someone can prefer you. Sindio?
Yes.
Kitambo, when probably maybe one brand of car was the one that was on the road, people did not have many options. But sai, for people get value for what they can afford because there is variety. So it is the same thing that happens within the marriage or the relationship setup. When uko na competition pale nje, you try and sell yourself more. And how do you sell yourself more? By trying to be better. Because maybe sometimes, I don't know, men will say, oh, me, I went to cheat because my wife is rude, my wife is lazy, there are all these excuses. But now, in that setup where probably this lazy person or this whatever, they tend to improve. I see it in marriage where people come and they decide, okay, fine, tuliteleza, but we are working on ourselves. So, wewe, mwenye mtelelezi, sijui mtelelelezo, you decide, okay, I am going to work on myself so that we can keep this marriage. So whatever your weakness was, now you need it. Because umekuja kurealize, you're not the only fish in the pond. Kuna wengine wako pale. So now you want to really bring yourself out as the alpha in that pool. You get it? So it might be a good idea, but I also feel it kills the man faster. That's what I, because imagine the way the concept that men have that women are nagists. So unaenda kwa wife A anakuambia na kukelelesha na unasema hapana, hii leo silali hapa, wacha niende kwa wife B. Wife B anakujia na nini? You're just a single man who is trying to take care of all these women. What is left of you? And if you are a cake, umekulwa na wanawake watano, by year 5 utakuwa nini? Skeletons. So sometimes people also need to.
But that wasn't the case for the generations that came before.
You see, it was there, and it's only that people let me tell you, I have been in situations where I am able to observe a man who has many, or even many women, let me put it that way, and someone who is nini. Huyu ana contain, in terms of stress anaweza contain, juu ana deal na mtu mmoja. Huyu mwingine, he has a complex situation. Think of it, your money must be divided into 5 women. So sometimes it's good to have wisdom. Ask yourself if you're able, if you have what it takes to be able to take care of these people that you think, because it's not just about intimacy. Utaweza ingia hapo ati because unajua mwingine ananitukananga sijui watoto. Okay, you will get someone to pamper your ego, but is she coming with other demands? Yes, atakuzalia watoto 5, ule mwingine alikuzalia 4. So by the end of the nini, you have 50 children. Na unasema the world is turning against you. No, it is your mind. You did not want to deal with this one wife, this one problem that she brought. You decided you're escaping. That is what we call escapism, where you try to deal with issues by running away from them. So you run to wife number 2, anaanza na zake after a few years, unaenda kwa until pali umesikia limited. And then one day you're asking your children, you're who? From which wife? Okay. You understand? So people need to have wisdom in how they want to deal with issues. It is not about fashion. It is not about pressure. It is about you as an individual. I will say this, and allow me to put this on the table. I own a rehab, okay? And statistically, 75% of my clients are male in gender. Sawa sawa. And out of this 75%, do you know 50% or more come from broken homes? They come from broken homes. Like the trauma happened where these parents parted ways. Na huyu mtoto sasa akaingia kwa drugs and they will tell you it is because of 1, 2, 3. The day they open up, they will tell you it is because of 1, 2, 3. So what I always say is sometimes think also of the damage that you're creating around the children. Because what is the main reason of bringing up these children? Don't you want them to also live up to your legacy? Why damage them? Because you cannot try and deal with the issue. I know there are times where things are so bad. Like personally, I don't support violence in a marriage. Mtu akikuja na kesi ya violence, I just tell you, my dear, this is it. I will not, because at the end of the day, if I don't ask you to leave, you will be killed there. So how have we won that battle? So at the end of the day, let me tell you, Dr. Kingori, lazima watu wajifikiririe. Start from the point where you want to get into the relationship. Create your own vision and your plan, okay? And know why you are in that relationship and what you want out of it. And if you want children and you want these children to come out and turn out well, you must learn to have mental muscle. And how do we get that mental muscle? There is no marriage that is perfect. There's a time I was invited in another whatever and I talked about myself. How many times I had been parking. Siku moja my dad aliniambia, in fact the first time nilipark, aliniambia umekuja hapa kufanya nini? Na vile ulitoka hapa na sijui limo. Unajua mpaka sasa napewa heshima because this was the biggest wedding in this place. So vile utafanya utapark utarudi kwako. That was how us guys were. You know, you could not live a marriage. And the more I was shaped to know that I can deal with my problems, the more I have heightened my ability to look for help in the right places. Okay. Where are people currently looking for help? In those male groups. Wewe uko damaged, umeenda umekaa na sijui Simon na nani who are equally damaged like you. How will you help each other? You will just start talking about how all these women are toxic. Hiyo ndio itakuwa topic. But let's replay this. What if you did not go and sit down with these other damaged men and you went and sat down with a shrink? No mwambie, this is the situation. And then the first thing she tells you is, you are not alone. And this is not new to the marriage journey. Okay. The good thing is that you can get help. You see, and you start working progressively. Because at the end of the day, musemanga better the devil you know than the angel you think that is out there. Afadhali mtu umegrow naye unajua fault zake, huyo kasirika, you know, ni spend thrift ni whatever, but you can work around it so long as you're committed to it. The only time I will tell people to walk out of the marriage is when they overuse. Unajua musemanga it's usage and then inakuwa abuse. use and then abuse. You know, when it comes now to a place where you're psychologically abused, you're, you know, physically abused, and I mean, basically, there's no other way out. But until you get to that point, try. Because ule mtu mwingine utaenda tu kumit, utatoka utaenda kwa mtu mwingine, si atakuja tu na shida zake. There is no one who is perfect. If only we had the right perception to life, if only we dealt with things in a realistic way and stop complaining. Toxicity, I mean, si people ukunywa vitu toxic. By the time people are getting blind, sijui, si hizo vitu ni toxic. So if you can ingest toxic things, then huyu mwenye unadilai ni nini unataka kuhepa kutoka kwake?
Unajua, I believe